Hi, my name is Mary. Today FM plays the best music in Lambasa. Today FM rocks.
My name is Thomas. I'm here in Nakasi and I like to listen to Today FM because it rocks.
My name is Milenia. Today FM rocks here in Singatoka.
My name is Alfriti and Today FM rocks here in Tavua.
My name is Mary Jane. I love listening to Today FM here in Ba. Today FM rocks.
My name is Ilaiti Ambal and I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks here in Osur.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
In the news tonight, PM blasts Rambuka for politicizing human rights. Hearing loss a major concern. And North notes infrastructure improvements.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Jackie Spate.
Prime Minister Vurenge Bainimarama has blasted the opposition leader for politicizing the statement that the Prime Minister made at the UN Human Rights Council in Geneva last week. Vurenge Bainimarama says Sitiveni Rambuka's statement questioning his sincerity is ill-thought and only highlights the SEDELPA leader's incompetency.
Rambuka on his social media page alleges that Bainimarama is a liar who has oppressed human rights since 2006 when he took over government. Rambuka says Bainimarama's speech to the UN should have reflected on the truth rather than just speculating on his own perception on the status of human rights in Fiji. Rambuka also made several claims about the running of the government, the provision of the 2013 Constitution, the introduction of new laws and decrees that he claims are substantive breaches of human rights.
In response, Bainimarama says Fiji's inclusion into the Human Rights Council speaks volume of the work done by the Fiji First government to improve human rights in Fiji. He says Rambuka was quick to point out the events of 2006, which was totally different from Rambuka's two coups of 1987, when people were physically abused, assaulted on the streets, women were raped, and government entities were illegally sold.
The Prime Minister says it was the 2013 Constitution that put a stop to the evil created by Rambuka and put things into perspective when compared to Rambuka's 1997 Constitution, which led to the permanent alienation of native land in Momi and Denarau. Bainimarama says Rambuka and his party SEDELPA should be thankful that Fiji, under the Fiji First leadership, has finally been accepted as a member of the Human Rights Council, which is a historical milestone achievement for Fiji. Ali Kimbia, FBC News.
Opposition and SEDELPA leader Sitiveni Rambuka was stopped from travelling at the Nadi airport this morning. It's believed Rambuka was supposed to leave for New Zealand to attend the funeral of the late Brigadier Ian Thorpe, a former RFMF commander from 1979 to 1982. Ali Kimbia with the story.
Speaking to FBC News, Rambuka says it was a technical blunder as no authority was issued by the court to lift the travel ban.
Following on from that, I should have had my passport released to me and the travel ban, which was part of the bail conditions, also lifted. That didn't happen immediately, and I didn't know I needed to travel this early.
According to Rambuka, he missed out on an earlier flight he was booked on because immigration officials demanded a letter of approval. As a result, Rambuka was forced to reschedule his travel plans.
I booked on Air New Zealand, then I found out I don't have the money to buy another ticket, so I'll use my Fiji Airways ticket if I can in a later flight, either later tonight or tomorrow morning.
Meanwhile, Rambuka has confirmed in the last hour that he has received the letter of approval and he will be leaving for New Zealand tomorrow. Ali Kimbia, FBC News.
There is no time frame as to when Navor will be declared a town. Local Government Ministry Acting Permanent Secretary Joshua Wycliffe says they will need to look at various aspects of infrastructure development first. The ministry is also looking at infrastructure development in Nadi for it to be declared a city.
Just declare a town for the sake of it. We really truly want it to be a model town. So again, infrastructure is one of those things that the Ministry of Local Government will look at.
Close to 10% of Fiji's population faces some sort of hearing problem. The Frank Hilton organisation says when compared to countries like New Zealand, the number in Fiji is shocking.
The Frank Hilton organisation says for a small country like Fiji, 80,000 Fijians having some sort of hearing problem is shocking.
80,000 Fijians, which is 9.6% of the population, are living with hearing impairment, which is considered disabling. If we compare that to a developed country like New Zealand, the prevalence of hearing impairment there is only 5.7%.
The organisation says from the screening they have done, most hearing cases involve children.
Normally in our clinic, we normally see children, especially children who comes under 3 to 15 years of age are the one we find most with hearing losses.
Ear, nose and throat specialist from the Ministry of Health, Dr. Chung Oh, says the rise in the numbers is due to late detection.
However, all the Fijians very tolerable. If there are something, the ear discharge coming out, ear pain, just they want to stay their home. This is a big problem. If you have any problem here, please visit your health center.
With the growing number of hearing impairment cases being recorded, the Frank Hilton organisation plans to open offices in the Western and Northern Division where Fijians can be screened more often. Catherine Krishna, BC News.
The Northern Division is experiencing an increase in infrastructure development. There's recorded evidence of more and better roads, bridges, jetties, as well as more access to electricity and water supply. Eleanor Rangaivu reports this wave of development can be expected to continue into the next couple of years.
Infrastructure development in Whano level is flourishing, and this has huge impacts in the economic growth of the Northern Division.
State of infrastructure, if I compare it to what it used to be in the past, just from the top of my head, it's improved.
The transportation system is one of the key components of development in the north. Improving the roading network across the island is one of the top priorities.
And if you look at the data in terms of kilometers of road and number of communities that have access to roads, that's continuously improved. So the focus for us is not only to continue to improve it, to make sure that whatever we put in is sustainable.
Seaports, crossings and bridges are important facilities that provide connectivity and improve market access.
But we never have enough money in one budget to fix them all. So you always have to program it and plan it and identify which one is the most critical at a particular point in time, make sure we can address that.
More people than ever now have access to water and electricity, with numerous rural water and electricity supply projects.
But the point that I keep telling the staff is that when you want to say whether something is improved or gone worse, you need to base it on some indicators, some data. And that is something that needs to be done.
Government's intention for the Northern Division is to undergo a rapid expansion within a very short period of time to pave way for high economic activities that will subsequently improve Vanuatu's overall GDP. Eleanor Rangaivu, FBC News.
Still to come, LTA to offer 24/7 digital services. And Fiji musical director attracts Hollywood attention. Details after the break.
Nambula FM, nambandua ya nasere.
Oya ubasit sai sa ilambasa, ya ndo talita ina warong nambula FM nambandua ya nasere.
Guya da tumeli ako na tao no hinga toka. Talita kina na warong nambula FM, nambandua ya nasere.
Wana tuma nambula FM, nambandua ya nasere nawaluan.
Na evango fani na tao ne ngo singa toka. Kita ndo talita kana nambula FM, nambandua ya nasere.
Bula FM, nambandua ya nasere.
Plans are underway to digitize all the services provided by the Land Transport Authority. Chief Executive Samuel Simpson says this will ensure that consumers are able to access LTA services at any time convenient to them. Currently, all LTA offices have scheduled operating hours. Ritika Pratap has more.
The digitization of LTA services will bring relief to many customers.
I would like to see us being able to migrate a lot of the LTA services into an e-commerce platform so that people could access LTA services through a self-service portal at a time and a place of their choosing, so that they wouldn't be bound by the opening hours of LTA offices. I want us to enable payments by electronic means, whether that be debit or credit card, to make the experience much better for the customer.
Samuel Simpson says the digitization process will take at least 3 years. Simpson says they're also working on introducing a tracking system to deal with complaints against LTA.
To ensure that every customer's communication is dealt with, that it's recorded. We have a system where we have a unique tracking number for each piece of communication. We want everybody to communicate through the same channel so that we have everything recorded and we can follow everything up because of this unique tracking system that we have.
While describing LTA's relationship with the public as not as good as it could be, Simpson believes these new measures will change the public perception of their services. Ritika Pratap, FBC News.
A regional conference to enhance cooperation among churches, governments and civil society organizations in the Pacific region, address environmental and developmental challenges, is underway in Nandi. Hosted by the Pacific Theological College and Pacific Conference of Churches, the main aim is to assist churches address health conditions of people, issues of security, gender, political violence and the degradation of the environment. Felipe Naikaso has more.
These faith-based organizations will over the next 4 days discuss critical issues that affect people in the Pacific.
The aim of this conference and our discussions over the next 4 days are to develop a regional network of churches and civil society to find alternative development options to address the ecological and development crisis in the Pacific.
With the theme Reweaving the Ecological Mat, discussions by these participants will look at issues and solutions that have an impact on people's lives.
Churches play an important role in that they are a huge gatekeepers in our communities. They are decision makers. They are part of and play a huge role in education of our populations where government can't reach. They have a greater outreach.
Our life is dependent on ecology, and therefore if economic development is being undertaken at the expense of ecology, at the expense of the environment, then we become poorer in the end.
They also believe that changes in lifestyle spurred on by consumerism not only causes environmental destruction but also increasingly produces unhealthy populations, the result of an increase in reliance on processed food. Felipe Naikaso, FBC News.
Former politician and career academic Dr. Ganesh Chand is the new Vice-Chancellor of the Solomon Islands National University. The university officially announced Dr. Chand's appointment yesterday in a release on its social media pages. Dr. Chand is a founder of the University of Fiji and was involved in the establishment of the Fiji National University, where he served 5 years as its Vice-Chancellor. More recently, he was plagued with legal battles and charged with 1 count of abuse of office by the Fiji Independent Commission Against Corruption. However, the case was discharged in November last year after FICAC filed for a discontinuation. Thousands of Hindus around the country are today celebrating Maha Shivratri, which literally translates to Great Night of Shiva. The day is celebrated to venerate Lord Shiva, an important deity in Hindu culture. Wood apple leaves, cold water and milk are offered to the Shiva Lingam on this day, as they are believed to be Lord Shiva's favourite. More than 1,000 people have offered their prayers since 3 a.m. today at the Shiv Mandir in Samambula Suva. The temple priest Vijendra Mishra says there are many mythological legends associated with this day. He says people often fast on the night of Shivratri and sing hymns and praises in the name of Lord Shiva.
You can offer your prayers in any way you can. If you don't have anything, that you can just bow your head in front of the Lord and just pray. The Lord understands emotions.
The Greatest Showman is well on its way to being one of the best movie musicals of all time, raking in close to $500 million at the box office last year. And it's got a little closer to home with the movie stars Hugh Jackman visiting the Auckland University of Technology last week after he'd seen the Oceania Choir perform a piece from the movie conducted by USP's Head of Performing Arts, Ingelesi Ete. Maggie Boyle caught up with the maestro to see if a little bit of that star power would rub off.
A million dreams is all it's gonna take.
Truly a dream for many that saw the Hollywood A-lister making his way to New Zealand.
I chose to come here because I saw a 3-minute 42-second video, which I've now watched probably 10 times, and it just was like a bullet to my heart.
With musical credits in Lord of the Rings and Moana, Ingelesi Ete is mindful of what these opportunities open up.
The Hollywood LA theatre scene, and we're taking Malanga, the journey, which is a production I've been working on for some time. And this was a great sort of segue from that, and looking at really taking their production to Hollywood.
The talent pool, Ete reiterates, in the Pacific is immense.
But really for me, it's actually serving our artists here in the Pacific and the immense talent. And I think, you know, Hugh Jackman really felt that because he was really emotional when we came through to South Auckland.
It's an incredibly emotional day. You're right, we've all travelled long journeys to get here. I've been to many, many places. Today is one of the most profound that I will never forget.
The Malanga Journey, the one-night-only show, is expected to hit the US in June. Maggie Boyle, FBC News.
Coming up in sports later with Jamie, the Via High Schools confirms participation in the Maritime Zone. But Kelly joins you now with business.
Thanks, Jackie. Good evening, and coming up after the break. BSP announces consolidated operating profit after tax. And in growing Fiji, Minister visits Namara waste treatment plant. Stay with us.
Lola, I am Eleanor. For the best classic hits, I only listen to Gold FM here in Singatoka. Gold FM, only the classic hits.
My name is Seni Rawa. I love listening to Gold FM here in Nosuri. Gold FM, only the classic hits.
My name is Dino. I'm from Outrigger, Koroko, Singatoka. I love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
My name is Salote. I love listening to Gold FM here in Nosuri. Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Bula, my name is Marida. Gold FM plays the best classics here in Outrigger, Singatoka.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Leading business tonight, Bank South Pacific has announced a consolidated operating profit after tax of $572 million for the 2018 financial year. This is an increase of 11.5% when compared to 2017. In a market announcement, BSP says total assets for the group increased by 3% or approximately $424.8 million to $14.39 billion, driven by good growth in the loan book across all countries. Loan book growth amounted to $0.825 billion from increased lending in PNG in corporate, small and medium enterprises and housing loans, strong growth in Fiji and uplift across most other countries. The group's revenue increased by 8.4% during the year. We now join Sharon with the latest from the money market.
The US dollar held near a 2-week high against its key rivals today. The positive boost is underpinned by a resilient economy and a flagging euro ahead of an upcoming European Central Bank policy meeting. The ECB is facing growing pressure to address how to protect the Eurozone economy from a protracted slowdown. Meanwhile, China lowered its official goal for economic growth in 2019 to a range from 6 to 6.5%. Policymakers there seek to pull off a gradual deceleration while dealing with a debt legacy and the US standoff. And closer to home, the immediate focus is on the outcome of the Reserve Bank of Australia's March policy meeting today. The Aussie has suffered quite a bit in the last month after the RBA stepped back in its policy measures, indicating the next move in rates could just as well be down as up. And that's all the latest from HFC Bank, Vinaka.
A mixed day for the Fiji dollar. A strong US greenback saw our dollar slip slightly against a number of currencies at today's setting. However, it made gains against the Australian dollar and the euro. Taking a look at the commodities market, oil prices were on the rise at over $56 per barrel. Gold dropped $7 to $1,287 an ounce, and silver closed down at $15.10 an ounce. The Namara waste treatment plant in Lambasa is under stress. In a tour of the plant last week, Minister for Infrastructure Chonu Samati was told the plant is taking more than it's designed to. Eleanor Turangavu reports.
Established in 1979, the Namara wastewater treatment plant was designed to cater for 5,000 people. It's now taking on more than double that amount.
We have a load of 11,000. Because we have a lot of subdivisions coming up.
So it's basically not catering for the demand.
With a lot of subdivisions popping up in the Lambasa area, the Water Authority of Fiji has implemented sustainable management practices that will cater for the increasing load as well as being environmental friendly.
We've done a manual desludging on this one, on this pond.
Manual desludging means you take the
things
out. What happens to that?
Then we'll have to
dry it here.
Yes.
Take it out there, dry it here.
The facility has 16 pumping stations across Lambasa with 1,699 customers, 1,221 domestic, 425 commercial and 53 industrial customers, which means they deal with tons and tons of waste daily.
But what are you going to do with the fact that you have an 11,000 population and this plant is supposed to cater for 5,000?
Yes, our plan is to decide to have another pond. We have it's a provision plant. Provision for a duplicate plant in the area.
The Namara wastewater treatment plant is the only plant in the country that treats waste naturally through the use of sunlight, a cheap, reliable and efficient method. Eleanor Turangavu, FBC News.
And that's a wrap from the business desk for tonight. Jamie joins you now with all the very latest in sports.
Thanks and good evening in sports tonight. Serevi reminds Fiji Sevens that the war is far from over ahead of Vancouver tournament. And Bars OFC Champions League quarter-final decided. This and more after the break.
Hi, I'm Jyotishma. I'm from Singatoka. I love listening to Mirchi FM. Mirchi FM is hot.
Mirchi FM is #1.
I'm Charlene Robert. Mirchi FM rocks in Lambasa.
I'm Soname Nasori Jackson. Mirchi FM is hot.
My name is Raymond Dutt. I'm in Baba Singh Alliance. Mirchi FM is hot in Lambasa.
I'm Kritika from Jax Nasori. I love listening to Mirchi FM here in Nasori. Mirchi FM is hot.
Mirchi FM, it's hot.
Sevens legend Waisale Serevi is encouraging fans to continue supporting the national team as they reset to defend the Vancouver title this weekend. Speaking at a function hosted by fans after the Las Vegas Sevens, Serevi also told the players that the series title is still within reach. Vasanil Prasad reports.
We still support our team. Can we give a big hand to them?
Words of encouragement from the man himself after Fiji failed to secure a win at the Las Vegas Sevens over the weekend.
They won today, they won last year, they won today. So it's okay. Next week, we won last year in Vancouver. So we are going back to win the Vancouver Sevens.
Serevi has also asked the fans to keep supporting players who sacrifice a lot while on tour.
We don't give dollars to the boys for them to win. No. It is just our job to give them, to support them and their families.
His message to the Fiji Sevens team ahead of the Vancouver tournament was very clear.
You have to believe in yourself, pick your bags, get ready. The battle's not over. The war is not over. There's another tournament. It's the 5th tournament. It's halfway through the series. you can still win this World Series.
The national side is pooled with Samoa, Kenya and Canada for the Vancouver Sevens. Vashnil Prasad, FBC Sports.
The Bar football side will face New Caledonia's Yengen Sports in the OFC Champions League quarter-final in April. Bar finished second in its pool last week and will travel to Kone, New Caledonia to face their hosts. In the other quarters, Team Wellington take on Henderson Eels. 9-time champion Auckland City plays Papua New Guinea's Ley City FC, and AS Central Sport from Tahiti meets AS Magenta from New Caledonia. Vivia High School from Lao has confirmed its participation in the Maritime Zone ahead of the Coca-Cola Games next month. Fiji Secondary Schools Athletics Association Secretary Vuli Wanga says he expects more schools to confirm their participation soon. The Maritime Zone will be held on the 12th of April, 4 days before the Fiji finals.
I do believe that Mode is also going to be part of the Maritime Zone for 2019. And the other maritime schools that normally come, I still believe that they will still be part of the Maritime this year.
The Fiji Paralympic Association hopes to send a team of at least 20 players to the 2020 Summer Paralympics in Tokyo, Japan. Committee President Shanaz Voss says they are currently looking at areas of development to increase para-athletic participation. Koroi Tandolala reports.
Fiji Paralympic President Shanaz Voss says they will soon introduce a development plan to get more Paralympians to participate in para-athletics competition.
But also looking at a lot of development in the sense of identifying the potential athletes and working with them, and then providing them the support, providing them the training, providing them the awareness, the education and everything else that goes, the knowledge, heading towards several games.
Development Officer Albert Miller says they will include more sports as part of its plan in the near future.
Most of our athletes with disability participating in, one is table tennis, Mary Roden, and the other one is athletics, where we have, like I said, 9 of our athletes have been training in the sport of athletics, and majority of them are throwers. Either they're seated or ambulant, which is basically they're standing and throwing. Still looking for more track and field events. At the moment, we only have one.
Meanwhile, the Fiji Paralympic Association received a boost of $10,000 from Escomotos today. Koroi Tandulala, FBC Sports.
The Crusaders will continue to be without Kieran Reid for at least a couple more weeks. Reid will definitely miss this weekend's match against the Chiefs as he is still working towards full fitness. Reid has been rested for the start of Super Rugby due to a managed minutes policy ahead of the Rugby World Cup. All Blacks and Hurricanes star Adi Savia has added his name to the list of those against World Rugby's proposed League of Nations concept, standing up for the Pacific Island nations, which would be shut out of the global game. A new NRL initiative could see teams in with a bigger chance of making the finals. Officials are mulling over a proposal to add 2 wildcard spots, meaning 10, not 8 sides would advance into the finals. In today's Play of the Day, a look back at Danny Barrett's heroics in the USA's Las Vegas quarterfinal clash against South Africa. After breaking his arm in a tackle, Barrett did not back down from his duties, getting right back up to make another tackle. Take a look.
Danny Barrett puts in the shot, almost dislocates his left shoulder, and then gets back up, and such is the character of this human. He makes the next hit with one arm. Danny Barrett is superhuman on the sevens field. The team are responding to his efforts.
That's it from sports tonight. Angie joins you later on with weather. And in the world of the weird and not so wonderful, millionaire US woman loses her mind over a 1-year-old baby photo shoot and ruins the whole occasion. Details coming up.
मैं नवनीत नंद नंबुआ से जैसे प्रेनी नोट मशहूर है वैसे रेडियो फिजी 2 भी सभी जगह मशहूर है।
रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन।
सीमा नकाशी से मैं रेडियो फीजी 2 पसंद करती हूँ सुनने के लिए। रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन।
मैं हूँ अंकल किंग सिंगाटोका टाउन के टैक्सी ड्राइवर। जैसे रग्बी फेमस है वैसे रेडियो फीजी 2 फेमस है।
रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन।
In tonight's new media, we check out Sony's new Xperia phone, which aims to wow on cameras and color. It's weather time now with Angie.
Hello there and welcome to the Weather World. What a lovely day, although we had some showers today, which also helped in cooling the heat. This is monsoon period, which is why we're having occasional showers. Now taking a look in the west, quite cool with showers bound for the evening. East-west from Pekhaba to Suva, exact scenario here as well, light to heavier drizzles as well. And up north, a semi-fine day was witnessed here. At sea, easterly winds 20 to 30 knots, moderate to rough seas. For the tides, low tide at 11:29 p.m. and high tide at 5:52 a.m. Sunrise at 6:06. For tomorrow, the weather is expected to stay like this. Tomorrow's temps, all centers will be hitting the lower 30-degree range and will be super cool. And looking further on to Thursday, showers will be around, but not for long. And that's all from the FBC Weather World. Jackie.
Thanks so much for that, Angie. In Fiji on Pulse tonight, we asked, should there be an increase in spot fines for littering?
I would, agree on the sports fine should be increasing.
I think litter fine should be increased because people still continuously, carelessly throwing their rubbish.
Yes, should be. Because that's how we can prevent the less throwing the rubbish in the public areas.
I think fine should be increased. People still litter. And, fine should go up to $100.
Yes, there should be more penalty to be imposed on those who litter because there's a lot of littering going around, causing a lot of impacts to our environment. Imposing a lot of more penalties can reduce the number of litter.
Yes, there should be an increase because this pollutes our environment.
Recapping the main stories for tonight, PM blasts Rumbuka for politicising human rights. Hearing loss a major concern, and North notes infrastructure improvements. Now for these stories and others, you can tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. To our poll question segment this week, we're asking, were you happy with Fiji's performance at the Las Vegas Sevens? Visit our FBC website to answer. Before we go, our shot of the day, a picture of a waterfall at Zipline Fiji, Sambeto and Nandi with the quote, anything man does is a lesser version of something nature has already done. Photo sent in by Brittany Merrill Verma. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page FBC News. You can also follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC_news or simply hashtag FBC News. That was the FBC News for tonight. From the team and I, good night.
Bula, nevang gomal kay leloma, ngongai nakas untuk makarong ng Bula FM, nambang dua na sere.
Hoya ubasit sai lambasa, ya untuk talita na warong ng Bula FM nambang dua na sere.
Gua do tumeli ako na tao no hinga toka, talita kina na warong ng Bula FM, nambang dua na sere.
Wana tunga ng Bula FM, nambang dua na sere nawaluan.
Nevang go fani na tao no go singa toka, kita untuk talita ka ng Bula FM nambang dua na sere.
Bula FM nambang dua na sere.